Hey guys, Rodney Rodriguez, Dirty Air. Hope you're having a great start to your week. Hopefully you have fallen back with time changes and so forth. That for whatever reason we still do, but that's a whole different discussion that we can take up entirely at a different time because it's pretty irrelevant now. Do want to remind you, you have Dirty Air will be coming up 6 o'clock Central, 7 o'clock Eastern on Thursday. Great racing stuff that we'll be talking about there. Had some great guests line up. Still putting all that together as we're early on in the week here, but did kind of want to do a little discussion because I don't really get, and I really a lot of times don't even care to do it on either show that I do, and this past weekend in the NASCAR Premier Series and in the three national series, we had three very distinctly different races. You had the Friday truck race. Saturday, you had the Xfinity race, and then, of course, the Cup finale that was on Sunday there. All of those at Phoenix. And vastly different were each and every one of them. I know on Friday you had the truck race, which, a championship's on the line is the bottom line with all that. And you're going to have, and I talk about this in depth a lot of different times, to where I'm surprised each and every time that we have an instance like this where we have one of these races where it ends up with this sort of vibe to it, and the vibe was a shit show. I mean, you had a lot of stuff that was torn up. You had stuff that was blatantly obvious, and I know the fallout so many times is exactly that it's a shit show. But I say it so many different times. Go to a weekly short track. Go to these regional races, and it's the same thing, man. It's just a barrage of yellow flags, and I mean a lot of it is for stuff like we saw on Friday to where it's senseless. I mean, it's senseless what happens right here, and the sad part about it is. I used to joke around with people and say, in some of the NASCAR National Series, when they start wrecking stuff, whatever, they have plenty of money. But I say that, but that's really a piss poor way for me to be looking at that, because when stuff is so blatant and stuff is just so careless, and there's a lack of respect, is really the whole thing. And I got to tell you, one of the things that really made me appreciate this sport that we all love so much a long time ago was that so much of it is respect and trust. And for my time behind the wheel, it always was a thing to where maybe I raced in a division or something where I didn't necessarily care for another driver, but maybe I didn't have a lot of respect for him that week or that month or that season. But when it all came down to it, I trusted that he or she was going to do the right thing. And that's where it really seems like we've really gone off course in the more recent past, and it was never more evident than Friday night. And it's sad. I mean, it's sad that race went that direction. My heart was broken for Grant Enfinger because he put himself in a position to win that championship, and especially with the circumstances that surround him going into next season. The guys, this was his last race. This is the last race for that team in that division, and Enfinger was about to punch himself in NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series championship, and it went by the wayside for stupid shit, and that's just a shame. That's just a shame. And people want to say, and I've actually said it, and I'll retract what I said earlier in the week, where it's not like it's bad. It's not bad for NASCAR. It's bad for our sport. I don't care what genre we're in. I don't care what dirt, pavement. I don't care what it is. It's bad for the sport. It's a bad look. It's a lack of respect. It's a lack of trust, and that really doesn't have any room in our sport, especially with what we're doing, with the money that's spent, with people putting their lives on the line. It's just not a good look. It's just not a good look, and it's a damn shame. Saturday, you had a little bit more of what. And this really depends on who you ask, because Saturday was a really great race. Saturday, you had four dudes that raced this thing out the way that it should be done. They talk about horse racing being the gentleman's sport or whatever. This should be a gentleman's sport. Things are going to happen, but then you have races like we had Saturday with the Xfinity Series. And those guys raced the way that you were taught to race if you learn how to race a long time ago. You're going to touch each other. Things are going to happen, and that's just part of what we do. Things happen so fast, and those guys, they raced it out the right way. And matter of fact, so was Sunday, but Saturday with Cole Custer winning that race and outrunning the other three dudes. I mean that's the way it should be done. It was a vast difference from what we saw on Friday night. Was Friday night a one-off? Some people say it was. But then you go to Sunday. And again, you had four guys, and the whole bottom line for me with Sunday was for all the short track folks that don't care about NASCAR, and I totally get that, and I can respect that. I mean, I don't care. I mean, NASCAR's kind of fallen off a little bit for me, lately, and that's okay. A lot of us are short track people, and that's just what we do, and that's what we're always programmed to do. But you had two dudes that are homegrown dirt trackers, and Chris Bell and Kyle Larson, that were a part of this. And for the dirt folks that swear off NASCAR Grand National Rail or NASCAR Cup racing, it's a couple of your dudes right there. It's a couple of your dudes that were in the premier stock car series in North America racing for a championship. And then you had Ryan Blaney, which is just, same thing. Same thing. Just not to the magnitude of what the other two guys have done on the dirt side. And then you had William Byron, which I have so much respect for this dude because the path that he took to cup racing was very unorthodox. Did it a lot of different ways. He's just been mega successful no matter what he's done. And in my opinion, when you get to that level, if you're elite, I don't really give a damn how you got there. But this dude has done a good job in the last year and a half to where he's come back to us. He's come back to our short tracks, and he's hooked up with Donnie Wilson, and he's gone out and he's won some of the best super late model races in the country. And we'll see him in December at the Snowball Derby. He's already on that list. He is already on that pre-entry list. But you had that, and you had Ross Chastain working himself back into this thing. He goes out, not the year that Chastain envisioned, coming off of last year, but he put himself at the front of this race, and I'll be damned, he raced for that victory. He wasn't going to do anything that was going to cost anyone a championship, but he went out there, he went elbows up, and just drove his ass off, and didn't lay over. Did not lay over. And I believe it's the first time that you have a Cup champion that did not win the finale in this playoff era. And I, for one, am glad because, going into that race this past week, a lot of conversation is maybe some of the guys, maybe some of the other four, maybe they're planning vacations. Maybe they're thinking of next year. Maybe they're planning what they're going to do the week after, planning family time, whatever the case is. And that, to me, has always been the case because it always does come down to the four guys that are racing for a championship. But the refreshing thing was that you had a guy that was not a part of the Final Four that went out there, sold out, and won the race. And to me, that was a race within a race. And the fact that you had a non-Final Four driver winning was really cool to me. So we put 2023 to bed on the NASCAR side. That's all done. There's still plenty of racing to go. There's some good dirt track races. I'm going to be a part of some great dirt track racing coming up here up until January here in Texas. Obviously, we got the Derby. We got the Big League 128 that's going to be happening at the end of this month, at the end of November. So there's plenty of racing to be done. So don't be sad. We still got some good stuff coming up. But it three vastly different races that we just saw this past weekend. And I think they went from bad to the best to good, in my opinion. 2023 in the books. We'll re-rack it and get ready for 2024. And, man, I can't wait. I can't wait for what's to go this season, and I can't wait to get back after it again next year, you guys. Don't forget to check in with Dirty Air each and every Thursday. You can catch it on the Dirty Air YouTube page. You can catch it on RodneyRodriguezRacing.com. You can catch it on Dirty Air Racing Show on Facebook, as well as on Racing America. Guys, I will see you the next time I see you. You guys have a great rest of the week, and we'll chat again soon.